Hi, this is Amber Rain Davis from NotableInk.com, and I'm here today on the CUTCARDSTOCK.com blog with two cards, and I'm going to be doing some rainbow ink blending on Curious Metallic Cardstocks. I'm going to use two different weights of this cardstock today, and we'll talk a little bit about the differences that I see in those two different weights. It's more than just the thickness and weight of the paper. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch of the white silver cardstock, and this is a 111-pound cardstock, and you can see that there's a beautiful texture to the surface, super shiny, reflects the light. It's just a really weighty paper, and there's lots of shimmer, lots of shine. So I have a small blending brush here, and I'm just checking to make sure it's not too large for this stencil. This is the Altenew Molded Line Stencil, and I have picked raspberry distress ink. I'm just counting off my Roy G. Biv because I want to do a rainbow pattern here. And I'm just going to ink blend, and you can see that the ink goes on nice and smoothly. Now normally when I ink blend, I do it in circles, and due to the nature of this stencil, I can't really do that here. So I'm kind of just getting the hang of it and also trying to decide how much coverage do I want. I had a couple areas where, I came down with the brush and had some darker spots, so I'm going to add enough to where it's nice and smoothed out. I really do enjoy these brushes though, and they let you get into these smaller spaces, which I can't always do with the circular sponges, so these are great. So I won't show all of the inking because it's going to be the same thing over and over, but I'm definitely going to share all the colors with you in case you want to recreate this. Now I'm going to show you how I just clean off my brush, because I'm going to use the same brush throughout this whole project for each color. So I just have a scrap piece of cardstock over to the side and I just rub it off. Now when I started this, I decided, I probably need to get the stray ink off of the stencil there. I did not continue this throughout the whole project because you can see that I have a stripe of pink there where the orange should be, and fortunately this orange is going to cover it just fine. But really what I decided is I don't need to clean the stencil, because if the colors blend a little bit, that's totally fine. So we'll just complete this row and then I'll fast forward. And here are the colors: picked raspberry, ripe persimmon, mustard seed, mowed lawn, salty ocean, and dusty Concord. And here's the big reveal. I enjoy this as much as embossing. And so you can see just all this shimmer, and even though this is called white silver, it actually has very much of a bluish tone. So I was thinking the sky blue in the background, and then we've got the rainbow. I had die cut a couple butterflies from the Curious Metallic Peacock, and I played around with these for a little bit and then ultimately decided to use a single black butterfly out of the Curious Metallic Night cardstock instead. So I'm stamping a sentiment from the Altenew Exotic Tulip stamp set. It reads "Hello Sunshine," but instead of stamping hello, I decided I wanted to use a die cut. And you can see I was playing around with two different ones. This is from the Stamp Market, and then this one is from Altenew. And I decided to choose the Stamp Market one because I felt like it competed less with the butterfly. And so I cut 3 of them and stacked them up to add some dimension. And that's the finished card. For the next card, I rainbow ink blended through another stencil over the Poison Ivory cardstock, and I'm going to set this panel aside, and I'm going to take my stencil with all the ink on it and lightly spritz it with a mini mister. You can see how fine the mist is there, and I'm about 8 inches away because I don't want big drops of water on the stencil, but I do want to activate it a little bit. Here's the Poison Ivy cardstock, this is 89 pounds. It's a much smoother surface, and I'm just going to press this down into my stencil. It's a much smoother surface, and the shine is a lot more subtle. It would be like a super light layer of Wink of Stella, that really fine glitter. It's almost barely noticeable, so a lot different than the 111 pound. And so I'll turn this. So look how cool that is. So I hadn't done this before, but I just thought this was the coolest look. So I loved it so much. I had ink smushed this little piece of cardstock here from another project, and so I grabbed that so I could drop as many things onto this stencil as I could. I'll probably do a little Zentangling on this one, but I just thought this was the coolest technique, so I wanted to share it. For the sentiment, I used another die from the stamp market, and then I sub-sentiment there as well, and kind of kept things clean and simple with just the black sentiments. And I just love how it turned out. I wasn't expecting those outlines, and I think it is just so cool. So for the cardstocks, like I said, this is the 111 pound, this is the white silver, and you can just see the difference in the texture of the paper, the amount of sparkle and shine. The 89 pound, like the Poison Ivy that we used, that's the same as the Cryogen White. So if you're familiar with Curious Metallic Cryogen White, a lot of people put color on that, and that is the smoother paper and much more subtle shimmer and shine. Just so that you're aware, if you're looking into these papers and you're wondering what is the difference in between the two weights, not just the weight of the paper, but also the sparkle and shine. So I hope that you enjoyed these projects today, and we'll give these techniques a try. If you did enjoy them, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button below. That way you don't miss any of my future projects. I'll also link a couple other videos for you to check out as well. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and be sure to check out the blog for all of the colors and more details. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.